only a couple of weeks away from fall, folks, and what you see here beside me is our Dicksonia antarctica. It's a Tasmanian tree fern. Planted this one nearly a quarter of a century ago. It now has 6 feet of trunk, so at this time of the year I actually start to remove some of last year's fronds because they actually start to brown out. And I water this religiously every single day. It's very dry here. We haven't had rain in about 2.5 months, and you can see how nice it looks. It's got fronds on it that stretch about 8 foot in length, and this year it put out about 2 dozen. Usually it puts out about 2 dozen each spring. So Tasmanian tree fern do like water in the dry months. Watered from the top of the plant in the inner crown where the cosiers emerge. Right through there I put the hose and I soak it down, and it goes right down through the trunk like a wick. I also hose down the trunk, so this branch, this frond here is looking kind of crappy. We'll take that off. And there's another one up here. This one looks sketchy. That comes off. That comes off. So I slowly remove the old fronds. And so the ones that you see on it now will be left over. They go through the winter time. It is actually evergreen here in our garden on Salt Spring Island. So next year, new fronds will come out in the spring, and all these will be remaining. And at this time next year, I will be cutting these off again. So it has such a nice full crown, so I've been cutting these off over the last few weeks. I've taken off quite a few of them. And looks like there's another one browning up there from last year. This is last year's, this is last year's, and there's a few more left on here from last year. So if you live in a similar growing zone, you may want to try a Tasmanian tree fern. It is hardy here in our climate. You notice I have it planted in an alcove of the house, a nice sheltered position. It does get full-on hot afternoon sun, and at this latitude, 48 degrees north, it doesn't really bother it. If you're in the deep south, they probably don't like that high heat combination humidity. So they're a good plant for this growing zone here in the southern Gulf Islands. And I will give you an update on this come winter, and we'll show you how it's doing. So when I planted this, it had about 3 feet of trunk, just about 3 feet of trunk. Now it's got 6 feet of trunk. And there are some pretty nice specimens here on Salt Spring Island. And I like it because, you know, they are green year round and super tropical looking. Lots of species of tree ferns, but there it is. What do you think, folks? That's our Dicksonia antarctica here on the very north end, the mild north end of Salt Spring Island. And there is the beautiful trunk. There's the inner crown that I was talking about. That's what I just finished soaking down. And you can see this frond's going to be removed next, then that one, and then there's another one up in there. So anyway, they are a beautiful plant to have in your exotic garden. And if you don't have an exotic garden, they're still a nice plant to have. All right, thanks for watching. Happy tree fern growing.